Thank you all for being here today. I didn't expect to have you all back down here in Kent quite so soon. 1 month ago today, we opened our 7th restaurant right here in Kent. As we did in 2011, we asked our customers where they would like us to build our new restaurants. We had over 170,000 votes in that customer poll. With the amazing community support and participation, we were shocked to learn that Sound Transit was considering tearing down our brand new restaurant along with the rest of the Lowe's shopping center to build a transit maintenance facility. We are not a large business. Opening a new restaurant is a massive undertaking for us and our employees. It requires what is to us a large investment of capital, of financial capital, and human capital. It would be devastating to us and our employees, and of course to our customers, if this restaurant were torn down. It breaks our heart that Sound Transit is considering taking this away to build a maintenance facility. We had hoped that this restaurant would be the beginning of an expansion that would lead to at least 2 more restaurants in the next 5 years. If this problem is not resolved quickly, our expansion plans may be delayed by years. This doesn't just affect our customers here in the South Sound, it impacts all of our fans who hope to bring a Dick's Drive-In to their community. Every new restaurant we open creates 50 new jobs with 100% employer-paid health insurance and a $25,000 college scholarship for every employee. We could only assume when we found out that Sound Transit somehow did not know we had just opened, had missed the incredible community engagement, enthusiasm, and despite the fact that we were already working with them on a permanent easement on the back of our property for a light rail line, it somehow just missed their notice. We're so grateful for Mayor Ralph, the Kent City Council, and all the South Sound leadership who've been working diligently to offer viable alternative solution in the last month. We understand the need for maintenance, and we are thrilled to be located near a future light rail station. The Midway landfill is a perfect site to house this much needed facility. It could be a remarkable thing if local, regional, and state governments could come together and take an otherwise blighted property and make it useful again at the landfill. This much better site is just down the road. We ask our friends and neighbors to join us on February 5th at the Kent City Council meeting to make it clear to Sound Transit that they should not tear down the new Dick's Drive-Ins and the Lowe's Shopping Center. We are about to celebrate our 65th anniversary of our first restaurant opening on 45th Street in Seattle. Grandpa and his partners could not have known at the time the hundreds of thousands of lives that they would be impacting. We are dedicated to continuing their legacy to be good stewards for our customers, employees, and for our community. I'm glad to answer any questions you have at this time. Anyone have any questions?
This might be more for the mayor, but just so people have a visual, the Midway landfill isn't terribly far away from you.
You can see the Midway landfill from where you're standing. That big vacant space is the landfill, and that's the frustration, is that there is a viable piece of property within walking distance of this location of the Lowe's Shopping Center and the new Dick's Drive-In. All we're asking Sound Transit is to take this location off the list. Even if it goes into the environmental impact study process, it ties everything up and puts a question mark over everyone's head for up to 2 years. Kent's not saying we don't want an operation and maintenance facility. In fact, we welcome it. We went down, a group of us went and toured the one in Seattle last night. Would love to work with Sound Transit, Seattle Public Utilities, Department of Ecology to make that a very viable site.
And why are they saying this location? Why are they saying this location is preferable to that?
So right now there are 6 options on the table. We're asking that this one be removed. They have concerns about building on a landfill. Our response to that is this landfill's been studied extensively. We know that it's safe, and we've got examples all over our region of where landfills have been repurposed and turned into community assets.
So is the landfill no longer operational?
It's not. It's been capped and treated for many years.
What's your vision for transit-oriented development in this part of the
So we want to see density. We want housing opportunities. We want shopping opportunities. Places where people can come and walk to the train, get off the train, and come and grab a burger, do their shopping. All of those things are built into our Midway plan, which we've been working on for years. This option blows up that plan. It takes away a huge section of what our vision for the Midway area actually is.
So do you get a sense from Sound Transit they were looking at this more seriously than Midway? You said they had been, they've been very quiet about this whole thing, so that's what I'm trying to get a sense of how serious they really were about this.
We believe that they are looking at this site as a favorable option because they haven't been through the process. There's no weighting of that yet. Our concern is, our ask is, we don't want to involve in the process at all.
So is that why you made this decision now to head this off early?
Absolutely. We asked Sound Transit when they came to us back in November, we'll work with you on this on the landfill location, but please do not consider this. And we've been unable to get Sound Transit to say we'll take it off the list. And that's our ask, is just look at your 5 other alternatives. Remove this one from consideration.
Mayor, can you talk about what City Council did this week to
City Council made put a moratorium. They're doing a zoning change on this property that basically boils down to an operation and maintenance facility is not permitted on this site, but would be permitted on that site to the south. So just to reinforce our position that we have a vision for this area, and the operation and maintenance facility here does not fit that vision.
So considering there are 5 other options,
And that's
this
exactly.
is premature.
And the zoning change, absolutely not. It takes 6 months to walk through that process. We have to have public hearings. That's what Jasmine was referring to about the February 5th meeting. So no, it's not. And at the end of the day, even if this site comes off, it reinforces the vision that we've established for this property.
And from our perspective, being on the list is very damaging for us. To have this location and the 6 acres we own behind it that we hope to develop in question as a potential site to be taken by Sound Transit over the next 2 years is a huge impact to us and makes it very hard for us to continue our planned expansion.
What do you plan to do? I'm not quite sure I understand. You own 6 acres here?
We own the 6 acres behind this restaurant, and we've done a lot of the legwork to prepare that property to be developed. It is on the market and for sale right now. We hope to sell it to another retail or mixed-use establishment that would provide jobs and services and products that people want to buy here in the communities of Kent and Des Moines.
Did Sound Transit not know Dick's was going to be here when they proposed this in November?
That is a great question. We could only assume that's why they still had this site in mind. It's hard to believe they didn't know Lowe's was here, as Lowe's has been here for some time.
Right.
We sent a letter to all the board members of Sound Transit, as did Mayor Ralph, and King County Council Member Peter von Reichbauer also sent a letter illuminating that point, and we have not been able to convince anyone that this site should be still on their list.
So they've not acknowledged that Dick's and Lowe's is here, is that correct?
They absolutely know that they're here.
Okay.
What we have been unsuccessful at this point is getting them to give us this yes, we're going to take it off the list. And that's what we're asking for. They'll start their public scoping process the 1st of March. And like I said, our ask is consider the 5 other sites. Take this one off. We don't want this to be part of that process.
And Mayor Ralph, could you just describe, we not only have Dick's here, but looks like there's a nail shop, a
There
Starbucks,
is.
a Domino's, a Lowe's. A
Multiple-
lot of businesses could be
Multiple
affected.
small businesses in that shopping center. Like I said, Lowe's is here. The opportunity for redevelopment of that back half, again, fits with the vision of transit-oriented development, bringing people into walking distance of the services that they need. We are absolutely in support of the Spady family's desire to see something wonderful come to that site. And as Jasmine said, putting that cloud over that property for the next 2 years makes it near impossible for anything to happen.
And Jasmine, what does that mean for the Spady family just in general? If you were to see this be demolished, what does that mean for you?
It's unthinkable and it's devastating to imagine, and it was very difficult to share that with employees here yesterday before this all became public. It's really frustrating that this has come this far. that this would be considered, particularly when there is a site so close by that wouldn't require displacing anyone and would be a fantastic use of otherwise unusable property. No, they did not. Nor did they respond to our letter.
I continue to have conversations with Sound Transit board members, and we have not gotten any confirmation from them that they are willing to take it off. We are reaching out to all of the Sound Transit board members to have this discussion and impress upon them how important this is to this neighborhood and community up here. We go back to that vision for Midway. There is so much potential on this part of this area of Kent, and this is just the beginning of that. And putting that cloud over it really creates issues. Dick's has already become an incredible part of this community in the short time that they're open. I may have said this, but I was up here at 1:30 this morning, and there was a line. There were people up here because it's now the gathering place to come. We're hearing stories all the time about folks coming from all over the region to this location. Having that there, not acceptable.
And just so you know, the vast majority of our crew here was hired locally. We started hiring in May and transporting employees up to our Seattle locations to get them trained up and ready. Many of them are already using our scholarship program to attend Highline College. Again, the fact that this new restaurant that they just help us open here and become part of the community here in Kent and Des Moines, for them to know that it might get taken away is terrible.
Jasmine, what's the dollar amount of investment that you're losing if your worst fears come true?
The dollar amount isn't nearly as significant as the time and effort and human capital involved. I mean, Sound Transit has put money towards things in the past. I'm sure they would attempt to compensate us, but it's not about the dollar. It's about everything that went into selecting the site, into working with our customers to find the best place to build the next restaurant, in hiring the employees and training them, and going through the construction process, in opening and having the community come out and support us on our very first day. We can't be here 65 years if you take us away after the first one.
As a mayor of a municipality the size of Kent, it sometimes seems maybe Sound Transit is maybe bordering on out of control in their land grab.
Where we're frustrated is the lack of communication on their part. We believe that they have been looking at sites for quite some time and brought us into the loop not until the end of November. So that's my biggest frustration, is that we should have been engaged in the process from the very beginning if they were looking at sites in Kent, and that didn't happen.
Would Sound Transit use eminent domain as part of their takeover?
Yes.
They have the right as an essential public facility. So it's an option. We are doing everything as a city, like I said, with the zoning changes that the council made, the work that we're doing in contacting board members to make sure that doesn't happen.
What can residents do to help? Is there anything?
So the question was, what can residents do to help? And I'm really glad that you asked that, because we would love you to come out to the Kent City Council meeting on February 5th. There's going to be an event on the Dick's Drive-In Facebook page. I'm sure the City of Kent will be sharing information about it as well. Please come out to that City Council meeting. Please share at that City Council meeting that you support this zoning change that the Kent City Council has enacted to protect us and the Lowe's Shopping Center and the Starbucks and the Domino's and the nail place and the tea shop from this potential eminent domain process.
Has the zoning change already happened, or is that in process of being implemented? There's a process. So we did an emergency ordinance at our last council meeting, and then there's a process. There has to be public hearings and consideration of all alternatives, and then the council will vote on it again in the future.
Okay, so did this get rolling in December, or where does this one?
The actual action that the council took was this Tuesday.
Okay.
Obviously, this spot was chosen by fans, right? Your customers, and no doubt factoring into this location was likely the fact that Sound Transit would be close. So, what does that feel like? That kind of bitter irony that now it's chosen that it could be the undoing.
So again, the question was, as one of the factors that went into selecting this location was the fact that we were going to have a new Sound Transit station not far away. How frustrating is it that they're now talking about taking away the restaurant entirely? It's very frustrating. The answer to that question is very frustrating. And again, we've been working in good faith with Sound Transit. They're going to be locating the light rail line along the very back of our 6 surplus acres here. And never did it come up, the concept in all of those conversations, that they might take away our entire restaurant after we opened it.
How would you describe that revelation to you? Is that were you blindsided?
It was shocking. The question was how did it feel? It was shocking when we first learned. I assumed at the beginning that it must have been a mistake. That I couldn't have understood correctly what was being shared with me. But ultimately I did, and we are still on the list of potential properties right now, which is why we are having this conversation.
Does your vision for this area include
Absolutely.
how is that transferring about? That's the view that picture of downtown houses.
So part of transit-oriented development is having options for people to walk to shopping, get their needs met. Lowe's carries all kinds of home improvement projects, things that whether you're living in an apartment or a house are important to your lifestyle. So it absolutely does meet that. And then the repurposing of this property and that shopping mall, again, all plays into that. So we are envisioning that the housing would actually be north of here, but that this all feeds into that transit-oriented development.
Are there any other questions?
Hey, Bill, you have any comments for I Love Kent?
I'm hungry.
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 How would you feel if this was torn down for a Sound Transit?
A little bit devastated, to be honest. Quite hungry. I need.
Do you have any insight on what's going on behind the scenes? Seemingly came out of the blue.
Whatever the mayor and Jasmine just attested to is basically it. I was involved in the early discussion about what site had the most cars, truck traffic, travel traffic through, met the requirements of high school and college nearby, and we looked at this general vicinity in the very early discussion of the contest. And Sound Transit Station was a plus,
Right.
to the Spady family.
But I presume nobody ever thought part of it would be sited here. This is like the maintenance, right? Is that?
And that was
So there was never a map or anything?
never.
Wow. Well, hopefully it'll be corrected soon, right? All right, enjoy your meal. Thank you. Dana, any direct messages for viewers of I Love Kent?
Yeah, so the City of Kent is going to do everything we can to get this off the list and ask Sound Transit to really consider the landfill site. We want the jobs, we want the development, we want all of those things. This is not us saying not in our backyard. This is us saying let's just do it smart.
Is there anything residents can do other than come to the council meeting?
Reach out to your Sound Transit board members. Councilmember Von Reichbauer has already taken a position and said that he supports this being removed. Councilmember Up the Grove is on that Sound Transit board, so reach out to them and let them know how important Dick's, Lowe's, all of this area is to them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Again, thank you for joining me. This is Scott Schaefer at the Dick's Drive-In in Kent. Have a great day.